Hello, guys. Today I have a special live looking closely at some of your hidden fears, emotions, and memories. This is called your shadow self. Many clients that book personal readings with me, as well as many of you that watch my channel, really struggle with this internal battle. This internal battle of attracting karmics, making bad choices, or just being a bit low vibrational. And this is something, a part of our spiritual journey that we all have to go through. And it's not easy. So my hopes is in today's video, I'm going to help you navigate through this with 5 practical steps in order to conquer your shadow self. So number 1, you have to acknowledge what your actual shadow is. So the first thing is, what is the thing about me that I know I need to change? What is the one thing that I know I need to face and I need to heal? You may be able to identify this through triggers, or you may have noticed repeated patterns that lead to consequences. For example, you may have feel a lot of anger, jealousy, or the need to always defend yourself. This may lead to pushing people away. So it's all about acknowledging and saying, yes, this part of myself is something I need to work through. And we all have shadow, and we also have vibrational choices we can make. But once you're able to acknowledge this thing, that's the first practical steps to get to a better space. As you guys know, on my channel, I do a lot of love readings. And so how this would apply to a love situation would be, why do I keep attracting karmics? What is it about me that's allowing myself to keep attracting low vibrational people? Is it a void that I'm feeling that I need to feel through someone else? Is it the fact that I never experienced love growing up? And so anytime someone shows me a little bit of love, even if they're toxic, I hold on to it close to my chest. Acknowledging these shadow selves in your energy will lead you to the next step, which is observe without judgment. So as you identify it, observe how you're responding. Observe your thoughts, observe your emotions. So I'll go back to that love situation, since we talk about a lot of love on this channel. Say if you find yourself getting a phone call or a text from that dreaded ex. Really evaluate your response. Do you become weak? Do you become angry? Do you become emotional? How do you respond to that person? And what that's going to tell you is, you know, I really need to work on that. I know this person isn't good for me. So I have to acknowledge that I am allowing myself to respond in a way that probably is not in the best way possible. I get countless people that I, do readings for or connect with and have deep conversations about their healing journey. And a lot of them would say, I find myself always going back to this person. And then I ask them, well, why? Why do you go back to this person if you know that they're bad for you? And they would say things like, well, they told me they would change, or I believe they would change, or I saw the potential in this person. But what did that inner voice tell you? Did you feel angry? Did you feel sadness? There was something internally that made you respond. Sometimes we even lash out at these people. But that's not the best way to respond to that either way. So really be in tune with how your emotional state, your thoughts, all that is happening. And then once you're able to observe it, then you're able to do step 3, which is reflect and journal. So this is where you write it down. I always talk about write it down because if you write it down, you're able to kind of tell yourself, okay, at this trigger, this is what allowed me to keep going back to this person, or this is the feelings that I was feeling that allowed me to drop my guard. And some of us are fighting the battle every single time because we're trying to do better when that person does reach out and we don't respond, but internally we're hurt, we're sad, we're angry. So write it out and then try to unpack it and make yourself very aware of what that is that you're doing and why you may be doing it. And then lastly, step 4, I got 2 more steps. Step 4 is forgive. And then begin to integrate new tactics or new behavior patterns that is going to be more healthy. So if you know that toxic X is not good for you, then say, okay, I made a bad choice. That was not a good person for me. I've learned the spiritual lesson. I've allowed myself to just accept it for what it is, and I'm ready to move forward. But forgiveness is not just for yourself, it's also for the other person. What we've got to realize, collective, is that when you're in these toxic relationships and you're interacting with these people, they are who they are. And so sometimes we have to look at it as they have so much shadow work and demons and internal battles and things that they need to work through that they may have not even acknowledged or accepted that needs to be changed. And this is where within you, you have to say, you know what? I forgive you and I forgive myself. I forgive it. This is somebody that needs a lot of support, a lot of prayer. You're just not welcome in my space. And these are the reasons why. Sometimes, if we don't forgive, if we don't find acceptance of looking and evaluating that situation as, I went through that, but I can take something from it. If we don't get to that space of looking at it as this is a spiritual lesson and I can get something from it, then what's going to happen is you're going to do it again. You haven't addressed the shadow, that deep internal peace within you that keeps allowing you to let this type of person in. And it can come in the form of a new karmic. So you have to acknowledge and you have to understand and you have to say, okay, maybe I was at a weak, low space. Maybe I thought this person can change. Maybe I thought, this or I thought that. But you know what? I get it. I gotta just accept it. I made a bad choice. It's okay, but let me not keep repeating this cycle. And when I tell you it's one of the hardest things to do to get to that step 4, forgiveness, it's so hard because some of you guys may have been victims of abuse emotionally, mentally, physically, financially. I mean, all the leads. But somewhere in that, if you really look deeply at who this person was, they are hurting. And you just have to pray for them. Step 5, take action. So once you look at that experience, once you've identified this is what I'm doing to allow myself to fall into the trap of these type of people, what am I going to do next? So this is the work. This is the transformational phase. And this is the part where I tell you guys, be mindful of taking action. Don't move too fast, collective, to the next. Or don't move too fast of trying to change who you are because this is a process. But it is a conscious effort now. I'm very aware. I know my triggers. I know my flaws. I know my weaknesses, I know my strengths, and I know what is serving me and not serving me. And so my next steps are going to be move very intentionally, very calculated. What did every experience in your life, and let's talk about your childhood too when we're talking about shadow work. What did those things actually teach you to become the better man or better woman you are today? And that is going to help you become the best version of yourself. Now, even though these 5 steps seem so easy, for some of us, these steps can be very, very difficult, especially when it comes to our love life. But one of the most important exercises that I tell clients to do if you want to attract a healthy, loving, supportive partner who is truly your match is make a list. Write down what are the things you look for in a partner. What are your standards? What are your expectations? You can even throw some preferences in there because that is going to help you kind of think about this is who I want. This is not who I'm settling for. And as you date and get to know people, you're treating it as an interview process. You're getting to know them, you're asking them questions, you're seeing do they meet that expectation of being a part of the most important job in your life, being your future wife or future husband. So when you see those red flags, when you feel those triggers or you feel your shadow self coming to the surface, you gotta acknowledge, what is that? Why, when that person said this, did I feel that way? Why did I get angry? Why did I get sad? Why did I get weak and want to lay in the bed with them? What is it about this person that's making me want to do things that's probably not the best thing for me? Now, some of us need a little help navigating through this thing I'm talking about, right? Well, on my spiritual journey, I've been actually working very, very hard, especially when I first started going through my spiritual journey. I got a shadow work book, and a lot of people know the shadow work book. It's very popular. You write down some things, you reflect about your childhood, your likes, your dislikes. It really unpacks so many different things. And I think what helped me when I was like really trying to get to a better space was using that to help me move on and understand, why do I keep attracting what I'm attracting, or why do I keep responding the way I'm responding. But what I did found is a new version of this. It's actually a deck, and they have prompts with these cards. So it's kind of like the shadow work journal. I don't know if you guys heard of that, or they have a bunch of shadow work books and journals and stuff. But this one is actual cards. And so I ordered some and I want to share them with you. I got my package from Amazon here. And we're going to open it together, guys. So let's see. Keita says, forgiveness is key. I love that. Juan says, I have done and I'm accepting. I forgive and forgot, and I send them blessings. That's good. That's good. Now you do the work for yourself. When you find yourself forgiving that person, now you got to do the work on yourself. Yep. All right, so let's look at these cards. So I got it off Amazon. This is the box right here. It's so pretty. It says interactive shadow work, card guide, and healing and growth. So think of it kind of like a shadow journal, but it's in card form, which is really, really cool. They have the information on the back, and the back of the deck says, shadow work is a way to understand and accept the aspects of yourself that you don't like to think about or share with others. It might mean looking at certain emotions, behaviors, or patterns that make you uncomfortable. Bringing these hidden parts into the open allows you to learn more about yourself and move towards greater self awareness, self compassion, and emotional freedom. I agree. That's what I'm saying. So, a part of the spiritual journey is being self aware. Because if we're self aware, then we kind of know how to respond to certain situations and why we may have responded in ways that have led to karmics or things in our life just not working out the way we want. So, this is a very transformative process and it's so important. And you'll hear a lot of people that's in this spirituality talk about, do the shadow work, work on your shadow self, things like that. Though these cards are a great way to look at it. And then on the side, it says unlock your hidden self, a deep dive into shadow work for healing and growth. And in bold words, for healing and growth. Yes. So it's a great way. So let's open it. And what it is, it's not really a tarot deck. It's more so like a prompting thing. So it can kind of help you with your journaling. Because as you guys know, journaling and writing down some things and being self-aware and reflecting about yourself and things you've been through is so important. Very nice packaging. And it just opens like this. Okay. All right. And then it comes with some instructions. We'll read the instructions. I'm excited to get into this, y'all. Even though I'm deep into my spiritual healing journey, I'm always looking for new and innovative ways to kind of help be the best version of myself. So it says Shadow Work card game setup. It says shuffle the deck, shuffle our cards thoroughly so that the reflection, challenge, and compassion cards are mixed together. Okay, so I guess they have different set of cards in here. So yeah, so they have, okay, I see. So they have a set of blue cards here. Then they have a set of yellow cards here. And they have this set of green cards here. It's a lot of green cards. And a set of black cards. Okay. So the blue card says reflection. Reflection. So the blue cards are reflection. The yellow card is projection. The green cards is integration. And the black cards is closing. All right. So let's see. It says create a draw pile, place the deck face down in the center of the playing area. And then it said set the mood. Got to set the mood. It says this game works best when you're relaxed and open. You might want to play in a quiet space, have a notepad and pen nearby, and allow yourself some uninterrupted time. It says number of players. This game can be played alone for personal reflection or with a small group of trusted friends who are willing to support each other's growth. If playing with others, everyone should agree to keep the conversation respectful, non-judgmental, and confidential. So it's kind of like a bit of like a therapy session going on here. I like it. All right, so that's the basic setup. Now, how to play. It says how to play solo or group. You're going to draw the top card from the deck. Read it silently or aloud if you're with others. Then you're going to respond to the prompt on the card. So what you don't see is each of these cards have prompts on them. So they're basically like writing prompts, journaling prompts to help you work through your shadow self. So it's very similar to kind of like a shadow work book or journal, except it's in the form of cards, which is pretty cool. So it says, if it's a reflection card, take your time to think about the question. Write down your thoughts or share them with the group if you feel comfortable. If it's a challenge card, consider how you can follow through with the task. You might jot down a plan, set a reminder, or agree to do it after the game session. If it's a compassion card, pause to feel the kind, understanding words. Let the compassion sink in before you move on. So I guess it just depends on which card you draw. That's interesting. Yeah, I think it's neat too. I love that. Right, Juan, it's different. Um, so then it says after you respond to the prompt, then you can discuss or you can journal. So again, you can do this solo for your own spiritual healing or do it with a group. So it says to discuss or journal. If playing alone, journal about the card's prompt. If playing with friends, each person can offer support by listening, reflecting back what they heard, and validating each other's feelings. Remember, you're not trying to fix anyone. You're all learning about yourself together. Okay, I like it. It says repeat as needed. You know, some people like me, I might need to repeat it a few times. Got some issues. It says you can draw as many cards as you feel right. Some people like to draw just one or two cards per session. Others might go through several, but pay attention to your comfort levels and stop if you need to because you may feel overwhelmed. So that's another thing. Whenever I was doing like shadow work, it's very raw, it's very deep, it's very hard. Yeah, exactly, Juan. It's like counseling, but it's like your own personal counseling session. All you got to do is get the cards and it gives you a prompt and something to think about, and you're just responding to the prompts to go deep and being honest with yourself. And some of these prompts, I'm telling you, like if you ever gotten the shadow work journal book, I've heard people cry. I've even got emotional because it's like, wow, it's like you have aha moments about yourself. And you're like, wow, I've been doing this wrong the whole time, or I see why I've been attracting this type of person, or what have you. So it says tips for getting the most out of the game. They recommend go slowly. Shadow work is personal and can feel intense. Oh boy, it is. It's very intense, but it's healing. You don't need to rush. Take breaks if feeling uneasy. And then it says, be honest with yourself. You got to be honest for this transformative process to work, guys. You got to be honest with yourself. If you're doing shadow work, you've got to be honest. That's the only way it works. And that's the only way you're going to get the best experience out of your spiritual healing journey. So it says, be honest with yourself. The more honest and open you are, the more powerful your insight will be. It might feel uncomfortable. No, it will feel uncomfortable. But growth often comes from facing what we've been avoiding. Okay. And it says practice self kindness. This process isn't about judging yourself. If you uncover a habit about yourself or belief that you don't like about yourself, remind yourself that everyone has struggles and hidden sides. It's human to have complicated feelings. I agree. You're going to find this stuff out with this shadow work stuff. It's deep, okay? So it says use support resources if needed. It says if something you explore feels too painful, which some people have gotten so triggered to where they may start crying or get super emotional with it. Remember, it's okay to seek professional help from a therapist or a counselor. You're not alone. Okay. So shadow work is a lot. It's a lot. And say if you're just at home and you're like, okay, I really just want to do something to get my spiritual healing journey started. I really want to work on me becoming the best version of myself. I recommend doing something like this to really dig deep and understand yourself on a deeper level. you know. All right, so we're going to play around with the cards. Yee! I'm excited. All right, I'm going to let you guys pick in the chat. So we have these different decks. I'll do the first one. Let's see. We got projection or reflection. Which one should I pick from? Projection or reflection? Type it in the chat. Projection or reflection? All right, Keita says reflection. Dalla says projection. Okay, 1 and 1. Which one, guys? I need one more vote. Let's see who's going to break the tie. Projection or reflection. And I want you guys to participate. If you got a pen and paper, you can write down your response, or you can just think about these things. Okay, so reflection wins. Reflection wins. All right, so I'm going to shuffle the cards. It feels weird shuffling a brand new little deck. All right, reflection. So since I'm a tarot reader, I'm always going to go to Spirit. Spirit, what is the reflection that the collective needs to know right now in this moment? Okay. It says, reflect on a time you felt powerless. Reflect on a time you felt powerless. Fill in the blank, guys. This situation was blank. And how does this experience affect you today? You don't have to put it in the comments. This is confidential. Please, y'all, don't put your business out there on YouTube. But reflect on a time you felt powerless. You felt like you just had no power. The situation was what? An example may be like you lost your job, you got fired. Another may be somebody broke up with you, you know. How does this experience affect you today? So because of that experience, how do you see it show up today? So you see how this can trigger you, because it's like you're going to go right back to memory lane and be like, oh my gosh, I don't want to have to think about that. All right. So it would be great, I think, is I would pull maybe a card a day if you're on a spiritual journey, and I would have a journal and I would like write down the prompt and respond to it and dig deep on my healing journey. It's super cool. For all of my people that are really into video vlogging, it will be helpful to maybe even record yourself if you feel okay with that. But writing is always good. If you have a support, if you have a support group or somebody that you feel comfortable with talking to, you guys can talk about this together. So like say me and my bestie get together and we have a session once a week. We get together and we do this deal. I think it would be helpful. So that's reflection. Let's look at projection. And they have different prompts on every card. Okay. Keita says, I'll do that. Juan says, me too. I think I'm going to give a deck away. Should I give a deck away? Anybody want a deck? Want one of these for free? I think I'll give it away and then in the box. If anybody wants one. All right. Awesome. So yeah, I'll do a giveaway. All right, cool. You guys want it? Cool. So yeah, that'll be great. So I'll do it like a contest for it, and then I'll sign it, and then I'll write an inspirational message for you. But if you win it, you're going to have to tell me, did it change your life? Did it really help you with your shadow side? All right, we're doing projection now. Let's look at projection. All right, this one is a little longer. It says, reflect on a time you felt someone was being dishonest. Reflect on a time you felt someone was being dishonest. This is your prompt. The person is blank. So you're going to put in their name. And it says an example would be a colleague, a friend, some of y'all toxic ex. And it says the dishonesty made me feel blank. The dishonesty made me feel blank, which might reflect my own fear of blank. So again, it says the person that was being dishonest is blank. This dishonesty made me feel blank, which may reflect my own fear of blank. And that own fear could be fear of vulnerability, fear of rejection, right? Because if it's an ex, they may have been honest because, you know, they probably was cheating or something, right? So that's projection. All right, last two we'll pick from integration and closing. I'll let you guys pick which one you want me to pick from first. Integration or closing, which one? I like this too, Keita. You know me, you know us Aquariuses. We like weird stuff like this. This is super cool. And I feel like if I can give it away to someone, like it may change their life. Like for real. It's such a powerful thing. And of course, I'm going to get another one for myself because I think this is cool here. All right. So we have closing, integration. Okay, integration wins. The integration kind of thick. Wait a second. Integration got a lot of stuff going on. They want you to integrate a lot of stuff. My goodness. All right, Spirit. What does the collective need to know about integration? All right. So it says, think of a dream or goal you've been putting off. Think of a dream or a goal you've been putting off. Now here's your writing. You're going to say the goal is blank. That goal may be learning a new language. That goal may be learning how to read tarot. That goal may be, I don't know, starting a garden, whatever your goal is that you've been putting off. And it says, I will take the first step by blank. I will take the first step by blank. For example, I will take the first step by signing up for Mika Divine Spiritual Guidance Tarot Reading class so I can learn tarot, right? So this is integration, which means I'm about to integrate. I'm going to reflect what is that thing that I need to do and take action, because we talked about with shadow work, you got to take action, right? So this is going to kind of help you think about something that you may need to actually do more of. I like integration. I see why it's kind of thick. Let's get another integration card. Get one more. Spirit. All right. So this integration card says, identify a part of your life where you feel stuck. Identify a part of your life where you feel stuck. The area is blank. So this could be like your career growth. You feel stuck in your career growth. You feel stuck in your love life. You feel stuck with losing weight. I know that was my thing for a long time. It's like, I couldn't get this weight down. You know, you feel stuck with moving on from a toxic, whatever it is. And it says, I will take a step by getting unstuck by what? What will you do to get unstuck? So this is about that action. You're going to integrate some type of action to get unstuck. Nice. So there's, this is just some samples, y'all. Samples. And look, some of you guys may not be comfortable writing stuff down. You know, some of you guys may just want to think about it and all that. It's still work. It's still doing the spiritual work. Still doing the spiritual work. Okay. All right, closing, which is appropriate because we're going to go ahead and switch gears in just a second and do our all signs reading. I hope you guys will tune into that video in just a second, that live. Closing doesn't have a lot of cards. All right, let's see. Closing. Spirit, what does the collective need to know about closing? All right. So closing, I believe, just has a statement. It says daily commitment. Commit to one habit that will help you embody a lesson that you've learned. Commit to one habit that will help you embody a lesson that you've learned. So they give you some examples, which is practicing mindfulness, journaling daily, or setting healthy boundaries. Okay. So I think closing just gives you some practical, healthy steps to get to your goal of healing. So yeah, I like it. All right. I agree. Keita says, I think writing things down is so important. It is. It is. And not only is it important, I think it also really just kind of like puts things more in perspective for you versus just thinking, your mind is racing versus writing it out. So I really feel like this is a great, awesome deck. And I will be giving one of these babies away with an autograph. It'll be a fun contest giveaway. I'll have it posted up on my website this weekend for anybody that's interested. But yeah, I love it. But yeah, it's a very interactive shadow work deck. And we all need it. We all need to do the work. And I promise you, if you're in a space where you feel like your world's crashing down, you may feel like, I don't even know where I'm going next. This is a good place to start. But if you feel like even after doing this, you feel like, my goodness, this is too much for me. This is too painful for me. I'm triggered. Stop, take a break from it, or go and get some support through therapy or counseling. Either way, it will help you do the work. And it's much cheaper than a therapist or a counselor, because that's kind of what it is. But it's even deeper on a intimate spiritual level. And what better way than, support what I do. So thank you guys so much for coming to this live. I have included the link down in the description box below for anybody that's eager to go ahead and purchase this deck. Let me go ahead and put it in the chat for you guys. It's really reasonably priced. I purchased mine on Amazon. It's currently on sale for only $19.99. I'm sorry, $16.99. I read that wrong. $16.99. It's only $16.99, y'all, for this deck. So imagine if you went to like a therapist or you went to a counselor, you're going to spend upwards of like probably $150 or more per session. So the fact that you're doing your own work by yourself intimately, you don't have to share your business to anybody, and you're doing the hard things to get yourself to a better space, only $16.99. So check it out, guys. That's what it's called, the Shadow Work deck. And also I've included in the description box below some more information about the cards. And if you click on the link, it'll take you to the Amazon page where you can read more up on it. All right. I'm going to stop things here, but you let me know your thoughts, especially those of you that's watching this recording. And if you're interested in joining the giveaway, go ahead and type giveaway in the comments. So I know that I have people that's actually interested in doing a giveaway, because I would hate to actually do one and people don't actually participate. The giveaway will include your own complimentary deck as well as an autographed. It'll be autographed, and I will include a special note of inspiration for you. All right. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys really take advantage of doing the hard work, whether it be with the shadow deck, whether it be getting support through therapy, friends, family. But this is definitely a great intimate way to get started. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'm off to do our next All Signs reading. Thank you guys so much for supporting what I do, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. It's hard to heal, but we're in this thing together. You're not alone. Take care, y'all. Namaste.